And we are recording. This is your host, Abraham L. Jaguar. First of all, this channel is proudly sponsored by the Red Room Publishing. Please check out their store for exclusive tabletop RPG products. They have recently released a new Flash, a future noir tabletop RPG where cyberpunk meets biological horror. You will find the link in the description and in the pinned comment. This channel is also proudly sponsored by Death Studios, the publishers and developers of Dames of Asstoria, a tabletop RPG where you play as monster girls, experiencing high adventure in a world that doesn't fully accept them. They have recently released the Whispers of Cooperative adventure module. You will find the links in the description and in the pinned comment as well. This channel is proudly partnered with the What the Funk shop. Please check out their store for all sorts of products. They have dice, miniatures, game master screens, home decorations, and many other things. You will find the link in the description and in the pinned comment too, and make sure that you use my code for a special discount. This time I want to talk about cooperative role-playing games, cooperative tabletop RPGs. This connects a bit with my introduction to solo role-playing games. There are many solo RPGs out there, but recently there are many games and even supplements that suggest that you can play the solo modes or the solo modules, etc., or using your emulator, your Game Master emulator, as a cooperative experience that is only player characters, no Game Master. The Game Master is emulated by your interpretations of the results from the tables. But it's not as simple if you actually want to roleplay. There is a tendency of turning things into a conversation when you make those rolls to see what occurs. Then anyone participating, two, three, or more players, they're going to start talking about their interpretation and they're going to kill the flow of the game. But there is a very simple solution to this. You only need to establish a person, perhaps to run the entire session, that is, to run the Game Master emulator. Or perhaps every now and then, you could also set it like every three encounters, we switch players so that player A is running the Game Master emulator instead of player B. This speeds up, adds agility to the flow of the game, to the session, because you won't be stopping to discuss, to talk, to have a conversation every single time. You can do that. Again, I'm not telling you that you cannot do that, but if you want to role play, to stay in character, to keep that role, to keep the immersion going, you need one player running the Game Master emulator for the entire session, or switch between players. Like three encounters happened, now uh, Bob needs to run the Game Master emulator. Three other encounters occur, now Jeremy needs to run the Game Master emulator, and so forth, because that way, when you make your rolls to see what you encounter in the rooms, to see the responses of the reactions of the non-player characters, the player running the Game Master emulator is going to come up with those quick interpretations. Maybe it's a post-apocalypse setting. You are moving through the junkyard, and from a mound of junk, from a mound of junk, steps forth an old man dressed in candy wrappers. Now, let's say that Joe, the player Joe, is running the Game Master emulator. He makes those rolls to see what the hermit will do, and he obtains something like conversation, request, threaten. So that means the hermit starts the conversation, um, requests something, but in an intimidating way. And Joe immediately thinks. The hermit speaks. Hey, you! Get out of my home! Out, or I'll beat the crap out of you! You see? And so on it goes. You don't interrupt the session, you don't stop. Just like in solo RPGs, don't linger too much on your interpretation. Go with the flow, with the first thing that comes to your mind if you think that the context itself gives you the details. Like, for example, my viewer can't rip or can't read rest in peace. He mentions how in combat he usually applies context rather than making rolls to see the tactics, the strategies, the what the enemies are going to attempt. In my case, I only make rolls in combat when it's not obvious what is going to happen, right? For example, if you're standing there in the middle of the battlefield with no cover and there is a drow elf pointing at you with a crossbow, he's going to shoot at you. As simple as that. But what if you are escorting someone? Is the drow elf going to shoot at you or at the person that you are escorting, that you are protecting? Then you make your roll. Simple roll in that case. Roll a d6. Odds, he attacks you. Uh, evens, even numbers. He attacks the character that you are escorting. And so it is very simple. So you can run any tabletop RPG as a cooperative experience using your Game Master emulator of choice, such as Mythic Game Master Emulator, the Solo Adventuring Toolkit, TriCube Tales, etc. Anything, any emulator. You can use it to run a cooperative session. And remember that there are also many tabletop RPGs that specialize in in facilitating cooperative play. One of them really good, Eventide. That's a post-apocalyptic horror. There are some very strong horror elements in that game, and that game has been tailored so that you play with your group, everybody as a player, and you have so many tables to determine to emulate a game master. Another really good game, Rift Breakers. Rift Breakers. It's an MMORPG type of experience. So if you don't like paying subscriptions to those MMORPGs or pay to win type of games, in other cases, right? In other cases, you can play that tabletop RPG and it will give you the MMORPG experience with the tables to generate loot, the encounters, combat, social interactions. It's all there. The items. It comes with oracles, tables. So be on the lookout for those games. But like I said, in my other video, sadly there are a lot of solo and cooperative tabletop RPGs that they don't tell you how to roleplay, how to run that game as a cooperative experience. Like in the case of Dragonbane or the Walking Dead Universe tabletop RPG, you have the complete solo and cooperative rules, but no explanation on how to use those rules as a cooperative experience. Well, I hope this video was informative, entertaining. If you have any other thoughts, questions, anything, let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, consider joining as a member using the super thanks button, like, subscribe. Take a look at the information in the description, the pinned comment. This has been your host, Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. And remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you, and see you later.